And welcome to JC3 TV. I'm Bill Butts. And joining me today, we have Drs. Robert Koegel and Dr. Lynn Kern Koegel. They're keynote speakers for the Beyond the Diagnosis, Autism Across the Lifespan Conference. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure.
So, doctors, you're both considered experts on autism here from the University of California at Santa Barbara. So, can you please share with us your different roles at USC? Let's say, starting with, let's say, ladies first.
Okay, well, we run the Koegel Autism Center at the University of California in Santa Barbara, and we both do research and treatment, and Bob is the director of the clinic, and I'm the clinical director, so I kind of supervise the clinical services there.
We have kind of complementary activities. My main activities relate to the research on treatment development and training doctoral students. And Lynn is the director of our clinic, which is the largest part of the center that interfaces with the public and provides a worldwide service.
All right. So, what led you to dedicate your professional careers to autism? Dr. Lynn Kern?
Him. I met Bob. I was a speech therapist, and I met Bob, and we ended up getting married and having children, and then I went back to school and got my PhD and spent the rest of my life working on research and treatment for children with autism.
Wow.
I actually got into it in part because of Kansas. I went to UCLA. My advisor was Ivar Lovas, but he was a colleague, a person who got his PhD with a main group of people who were based at the University of Kansas and developed the field of applied behavior analysis. And that was such an exciting thing that it lured a lot of people into that field. And I was one of the ones that got lured into it. There was excitement that looked like real potential for helping people. And it actually turned out to be a field that has helped millions of people worldwide. So I was lucky to get in on it.
Back when we both started, there were very, very few children diagnosed with autism. And now there's been an epidemic, and it's just so common. We see just about every family touched by a child or a relative or a friend who has a child with autism.
Speaking of that, autism spectrum diagnosis, which statistics have continued to increase. What is the average age for a diagnosis and why has that changed over the last, say, few decades?
The diagnostic age has been decreasing as pediatricians and specialists become more aware of the symptoms. It used to be that we didn't see kids till maybe 4 or 5. And now we actually just finished a study that we published where we worked with children who had early symptoms that were under a year of age. The youngest was 4 months. So we're not saying any of them or most of them will get diagnosed that young, but most of them these days are getting diagnosed in the preschool years.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Well, the Autism Conference here at Johnson County Community College, it focuses on providing research-based sessions. So why is it important for the information to be research-based?
Well, there's probably at least 3 reasons why that's important. The most important reason is you want to be sure that the technique works. There's hundreds and hundreds of treatment approaches for the treatment of autism, and about 99.9% of them don't work at all. Some of them actually do harm. So the research base shows those approaches that actually do work and do help the children. So that's extremely important. And then, third-party payers, school districts, insurance companies, etc., won't pay for an approach that doesn't work. That's kind of a mundane reason, but it might be important to a family who desperately needs treatment for their child. It might be very important for them to know that there is somebody that will be willing to pay for it if it's empirically supported. And then the other thing is if people use approaches that don't work or even harmful, they open themselves up to lawsuits. And so on the other hand, if they're using an approach that's been documented to work, they can feel comfortable in what they're doing. They can just concentrate on helping the children. Don't have to worry about all those other mundane issues.
And the children just really need intensive interventions, and we're sort of in a race against time. We want to speed up this development process so we can catch them up with their peers. So using good evidence-based practices that are effective is just so important so that we can really help the children progress as quickly as possible.
All right. Well, let's see, can you tell us about what you've developed, which is the pivotal response treatment, which is considered to be one of the top 4 scientific practices in the U.S. for autism intervention. So what is PRT, and why is it so effective?
Pivotal response treatment is an evolution in the field of applied behavior analysis, which, as I mentioned, began here in Kansas. And PRT focuses on the pivotal area of motivation. So children who have autism with such a severe disability from birth on, they have a lot of difficulty in life, and it seems like they give up. They just give up and have no motivation to interact at all with people. Pivotal response treatment targets that core area of motivation. It makes them excited and enthused and happy to interact with people. They stop worrying about their disability, and they begin to have a lot of interactions which create a cyclical, spiraling upwards, transactional treatment model. So it's applied behavior analysis with this sort of engine in it that drives it at very high speed, and the children make very rapid, widespread gains with the approach.
And so pretty much the bottom line is if the children aren't having fun while we're doing the intervention, they're not going to want to socialize and interact and communicate during other times of the day. So we want to make it really fun. Our intervention is so much fun that the kids race in. They get upset when they're not when there's a holiday or a day off. And the older interventions, which some are still being used today, the kids have a lot of disruptive behavior, a lot of avoidance behavior. They don't like the intervention. And if they don't like it and they're fighting us, then the gains will be really slow. But if they like it and they're trying hard and they're motivated, then we're going to have a lot more progress.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. And let's see, how many books have you would you say you've actually written, sir?
Oh, I'm thinking it's about 6 books, maybe 6 or 7 books. The newest one, this book here, the PRT, Pivotal Response Treatment Pocket Guide, is one that has just recently come out and is very popular because it's a kind of a reader-friendly book that explains the procedures in kind of interesting, fun-to-read terms. But we've also written, like I say, maybe 5 or 6 other books besides this one that are more technical. Lynn has one other book that's aimed at a large audience too. This is the newest book.
And could you give us more details?
Oh, I wrote a book called Overcoming Autism. And so that has sort of both the clinician side and the family side, what it's like having a child with autism and sort of the psychological issues and along with just the treatment issues. So it kind of is a nice balance where the mom and I go back and forth in our writing.
So can you tell us, where can one really go to get more information on the PRT and about your books?
We have 2 websites that they could go to that not only have the books that we've been mentioning, but have quite a few how-to manuals and other valuable resources that people can use. The easy-to-say website is KegelAutism.com.
And the KegelAutism.com, that has certification if people want to make sure that either they or their employees or their teachers or their therapists are doing the procedures correctly.
All right. And can you tell us more about the sessions?
The certification?
Yes. My apologies. Can you tell us more about the certifications?
Yes, the certification, people can send clips of themselves working with children, and we go through and make sure that they meet fidelity of implementation, which means that they're implementing all the different procedures correctly, and then we provide feedback, and basically we're trying to teach them how to get this really effective intervention going.
Absolutely. We look forward to everything you have to bring in today. And, well, that's all the time we have for today. And reporting for JC3 TV, I'm Bill Butts.